From the Republican perspective, of course, is Senator George Maziarz. He represents parts of Western New York along the shore of Lake Ontario. Senator, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
So, okay, what is the update lately?
You're going to win, naturally.
The Republicans
are going to win all three.
I'm glad we've touched on that.
We're done with that. Let's go on.
Really, though, there is a race in your neck of the woods
that
everything could really end up hinging on. It is the Antoine Thompson-Mark Grisanti race. And you are feeling the Democrats are throwing a lot of heavy hitters. Today they announced they hired Ken Gross, who is a very big D.C. Election law attorney.
I think the Democrats have probably given up on the Long Island seat. I'm not real familiar with the political geographics of Long Island, but I just get the sense from reading through all of the spin that they may have given up on that one, and they're moving all their troops up to Buffalo, their legal troops anyway, up to Buffalo. But it's not going to make any difference in the end. When you look at those districts, and I am very familiar with those, with that area, in the city of Niagara Falls, which is overwhelmingly Democratic, Mark Grisanti won with almost 80% of the vote. The town of Grand Island, which again leans Democratic, Mark won, I think, with 82% of the vote.
Wow.
So what I have found is that, and I think you've been around a while, Liz, is that the absentee ballots almost always follow along the machine ballots.
Frequently they break that way. Yeah. Frequently. Yeah. The machine ballots, the machines, such as they are these days.
Right, exactly.
This must be you must feel that this is a victory for you in particular personally, because the way that the Senate breaks things down is that senators are in charge regionally. I mean, you're a leader in the conference of Western New York political operations, is that correct?
Yes.
And also you had a role in the, I don't know what to call it anymore, the coup, if you will, last summer, which we don't want to think about because the possibility of deadlock still remains with us, and sort of hoping that that doesn't go there. But it didn't work. And this time it appears maybe that the Republicans, according to you, might have been successful in
I think the Republicans in the end are probably going to be successful. It'll probably end up to be 32-30. But one of the things, and I would encourage Senator Skelos and whoever the leader is going to be on the Democratic side, it's kind of, I think, obvious that for the next 2 or 3 election cycles, the Senate is probably going to end up to be 32-30, 33-29, maybe, could be either way.
Well, until you redraw the lines.
Right. That we have to get along with each other and probably come up maybe with some good goals and objectives. I know there's a lot of things in Western New York that Senator-elect Grisanti, myself, Senator Ransenhofer, Senator Tim Kennedy, the newly elected Democrat who's taken over for Bill Stokowski, and Pat Gallivan, who's taken over for Senator Volker. We've got to get things like UB 2020. We've got to keep more power that the Niagara Power Project generates.
Now, I find this interesting because you're actually segueing into an area that I want to get to. You were one of several senators, along with the late Tom Morahan, who were given chairmanships by John Sampson, the Democratic leader, in an unusual show of bipartisan support. So or reaching across the aisle for sort of what you're talking about, just what you're discussing here, which is a sort of trying to work together. Then, subsequently, the Republicans voted en masse no on many different things towards the
usually
end.
Tax increases and fee increases.
Right.
Yes.
So you're telling me that you think if the Republicans get back into the majority that things are going to be run differently?
I hope they're run differently because they really have to be. I mean, if everything is going to be this close, not every vote has to be 32-30. I mean, look, when the Republicans were there, we voted against all these tax and fee increases. We voted against the budget, because there were bad budgets. I think the proof is in the pudding. I mean, I think they've turned out to be bad budgets. Governor-elect Cuomo thinks they're very bad budgets. So, but, there's a lot of other things, a lot of other areas, that I think we can get along with each other and move forward.
Does that include, for example, maybe more equitable distribution of resources? Because it's always been to the victor goes the spoils in the Senate. Absolutely,
yes. We have to differentiate ourselves from the Assembly. That's the way the Assembly was run too, and it's really
it was
really
the way
dramatic.
The Senate
it was too.
Okay.
I agree with you. Yes, that is a great area to start. Equal distribution of resources. Absolutely.
Okay.
Senator Bonasek, by the way, a Republican, has been preaching that gospel for years.
Okay. Are you then no longer interested in the leadership yourself? Is that correct?
I am. Wait a minute. Are you talking about the Senate Majority Leader? I think that's pretty much a foregone conclusion, particularly since there are 2 new Republicans from Long Island that are going to be in there. That Senator Skelos has the votes, and he deserves it. I mean, he was, I think, an effective minority leader, and he won enough elections now that we are going to be in the majority, and he's going to be the majority leader.
So, and is that okay with you? Or what about a different leadership post, perhaps a number 2? Are you looking for something else? You want to stick with energy?
Depose Senator Livers?
I'm just asking. I'm not suggesting that's a good idea.
I'm
just asking.
Oh, okay.
Are you interested? Do you want to keep energy?
No,
Is that
no, what I'm
do?
more interested in, Liz, very frankly, is to make sure that Western New York has a seat at the table. I mean, we have a proposal that last year, I think the Dems passed it only to try to save Senator Stokowski. It's called UB 2020, the Sunni Empowerment Program. We have to pass that. That is the economic survival of Western New York.
Are you prepared? It sounds to me like you are prepared to work with Andrew Cuomo, with Governor Cuomo.
Oh, absolutely I am. Absolutely I am. The people have made their choice. I supported Carl Palladino, but the people have made their choice. Governor Cuomo has come out and said that he's for UB 2020, and we in Western New York are going to take him at his word and say that, and go forward. It
seems like there's going to be a lot of changes, though. I mean, this is not going to be your grandfather's Senate majority, right? If the Republicans take back over, already you're seeing one of the last sort of real veterans. John McArdle announced today, the communications director, that he will be leaving. So you expect more staffing changes?
I think there's going to be changes. I don't think we can run. As you pointed out, I don't think we can run, the way that we have in the past, where the majority got everything, we ignored them. I think I look forward to reaching across the aisle. I tried to do it early on, with the chairman of the Senate Energy Committee. I thought I worked very well with my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. But the election's over. We've got a new governor, and I really think that having some stability in the executive branch. We've had 4 years of turmoil in the executive branch, to put it kindly. I think having some stability in the executive branch is going to benefit everyone, both the Assembly and the Senate.
So what you do not foresee that there will be any splitting, because that's what we saw with the Democrats. We saw little factions split off and hold the chamber hostage. In fact, we saw Bill Stokowski do it for UB 2020. He held up the whole budget. You don't think that's appropriate?
No, I don't think it's appropriate. And I'll tell you, I don't know, what Senator Stokowski's understanding of it was. I mean, I think they may have done it knowing that the Assembly was never going to do it. We've got to get together with both the Assembly and have the Western New York delegation be the leader on issues like UB 2020. On both houses I'm talking about, Senate and Assembly.
Well, it's going to be a difficult year, certainly, but in the meantime, I want to thank you very much for coming in. George Maziarz, thanks.
Okay.